So let's take a look at some grinders. I'm going to disconnect the tool while we talk about it. This is a little 4.5 inch UT 8780-1 grinder. 4.5 inch refers to the wheel size. This is actually a guard that accommodates 4.5 or 5 inch wheels. It's a 5/8 spindle thread. The retaining nuts, you'll see there's a back shoulder nut and then one for the top with the spanner wrench. I know that we tested, used these earlier, checked the nuts, everything is tight. This is the side port, the exhaust, which is actually adjustable. So you can adjust the air away from or at the operator. This is a composite overlay handle, so it's a little bit more comfortable, warmer to the touch, but cast underneath for durability. Lever type safety lock throttle to keep that tool from accidentally starting. That's an OSHA requirement. You'll see the guard. It's an adjustable guard with no tools. Essentially a thumb latch that allows me to rotate the tool. Close it, it is now locked into place. A dead handle, basically to help steady the tool, plus absorb some of the vibration. This is actually a side exhaust tool, as I said here, and on the back end, just a standard fitting. In most cases, I might move from a standard narrow type diameter fitting to a full flow, just to give the tool a little bit more volume of air as you get into some heavy duty grinding applications. This tool itself is 0.9 horsepower, 11,000 RPM. And again, we've checked the speed of the wheel. This is a 4.5 inch wheel that's actually designed with a maximum RPM of 13,300 RPM. So I know it's safe to use on this tool. Let's go ahead and put a couple of drops of oil in there. Just a couple of drops in the back end. This tool, being an angle grinder, also needs to be lubricated in the gear head. So obviously this is the head, you've got your right angle gear set. Instead of a Zerk fitting, this actually has a little cap screw. You take and remove that cap screw and you'd insert your grease there and then just replace the cap screw. All hooked up, ready to go. Typically what I'll do is anytime I start a tool, I don't want to run it full speed for several seconds at a time unless I'm in an enclosed area, possibly putting it down into a drum if that's important, that you want to run it full speed. But typically I like to turn the tool on when I'm ready to put it into the work. Okay, so we're still talking about angle grinders and universal tool. This is actually one of our higher end, heavy duty, high performance angle grinders. This is the UT 8784-5. So I've got a fresh wheel here for an angle, 4.5 inch angle grinder. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna double check here, 4.5 inch, type 27, maximum RPM 13,300. So I know that this tool spins at 12,000 RPM, so it's safe to use on this particular grinder. When you look at the bottom retaining nut on the bottom of the spindle, you'll see it has a little shoulder, and with this rim on the arbor opening, it's going to self-center when I drop this wheel on. So if you take a look at that from the top, you'll see it dropped right on there. I'll go ahead and I'll put the top retaining nut on the wheel, but I'll make sure that this shoulder faces down so it helps support that wheel and self-centers it while I tighten it. I've actually got my finger on the spindle lock that just dropped into place. It's going to hold the spindle while I take my spanner wrench and tighten the retaining nut. and I know that that's snug. So I've got a fresh wheel. Let's talk about the tool a little bit. It is a rear exhaust tool. Essentially, the air is diverted off the back, and I can kind of rotate the vent to divert the exhaust away from the operator or the workplace. This is a composite overlay handle, again for comfort, to insulate the operator maybe from change in temperature or vibration. Underneath it is a full cast aluminum housing. We laser etched the model number and the specs of the tool here. You can see 12,000 RPM along with the information on the model number. So again, I know it's a safe accessory on this tool. This is actually the grease Zerk fitting that I talked about on some of the other products, that you could grease the gear head. On the right side of the tool is the spindle lock. So this allows me to use only one spanner wrench, not any additional second wrench. You can see it just locked into place and the spindle's locked. You can actually change that. I've got the tool set up for me, a right-handed operator. If I want to switch it, I could take the dead handle. I could switch it to this side. And I could actually take that spindle lock and I could swap it to this side here. This plug would come out, the spindle lock would go here, this plug would actually drop into this opening here. So I'll put the dead handle back. Okay. So I'll tighten the dead handle, and again, this is designed to absorb vibration and insulate the operator from any excessive movement or vibration. Guard is adjustable without tools. You can see the little spring clamp allows me to rotate the guard, lock it into place. Safety engineers will love this feature because you can see once I go ahead and loosen that guard will not come off unless I disassemble this whole spring lock assembly. So the operator is less apt to just let it drop off or throw it away. This tool is actually 2.4 horsepower. That's a lot of power in a small unit. It's less than 10 inches long. You can see the small diameter of the actual body. Noise output is very low with reduced vibration, and it also spins at 12,000 RPM. Some of the similar type grinders spin at 10 or 11, which is just short enough of some of the newer abrasives that need to spin at a higher speed. Really won't work efficiently as they're designed. So this tool is designed to run the current abrasives that are marketed today. So the air supply, this is a larger hose. We recommend a full 1/2 inch hose supply. This happens to be a 3/8 full flow, just for the shop here, but we do recommend for full operating power that you go with a 1/2 inch line. What's unique is you're going to see a full flow fitting, and I recommend this on all the grinders and larger tools. If I show you a comparative die grinder, you can see the difference when I say full flow versus standard low flow. You can see the material that this grinder removes. Now I was pushing down pretty hard, and with that 2.4 horsepower motor, it's really designed to maintain power under load. So all in all, in a nutshell, that's the UT 8784-5.